What's up everyone, this is your head coach Kuya for Fit Gamer, and for today's class we're going to go over how to easily beat annoying characters, and we're going to go over Kazuya and Cloud. This will be a general guide on how to beat common pain point characters starting with Final Fantasy's own Cloud and Tekken's own Kazuya Mishima. If you want to see tips against a certain character, please let me know in the comments below and I could put that on the list. We're going to go over a quick preface. We're going to go over Cloud's strengths, tips against Cloud, then some Kazuya strengths, and then tips against Kazuya. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, or you could join us for our live class in the Discord server, linked down in our bio. But as always, I do have to do this preface where when we're talking about annoying characters, please turn your negative emotions about something into an opportunity to learn and grow in the game. If you struggle in a matchup, that means that it's time for you to level up. Additionally, someone in the world out there is gonna find your main character annoying no matter what, so it's important to just focus on yourself. Don't worry about what other people have to think or what they say. Just keep on focusing on your own playstyle. If you like playing as Cloud or you like playing as Kazuya, don't let it bother you at all. And this is coming from a Yoshi main. People don't like my character, and I just got used to it. So for starters, let's go over Cloud's strengths. He has one of the best back airs in the game, and just really good disjoints in general, but specifically back air is just such a great tool for him. It has really good range. It's -3 on shield, which is extremely safe, including the fact that like you could space it out well too. So like if you do have a move that can punish a -3 on shield attack, you could still distance yourself to make it even more safe on shield. And it also is auto cancelable from a short hop, so Cloud can really throw out a bunch of short hop back airs with little to no end lag. He has great mobility, so he's up on the list for great dash speed and great run speed, and he has some pretty solid air speed as well. And lastly, he has a versatile limit break mechanic, so if you don't know, his down B, he charges his limit, you see a little bar go over his head, and then if he fills that up, he gets a couple cool things. So first off, if he's glowing blue because his limit break is filled up, he gets a small buff, like a additional multiplier to all aspects of his mobility, so like air acceleration, air speed, ground speed, move speed, traction, gravity. I think it also buffs his weight too. It also gives him access to limit break up B, which is an amazing recovery option, and he also gets access to very strong special moves. So finishing touch can KO opponents at like 50%. Limit cross slash just does a bunch of damage and a lot of knockback. And blade beam is probably the worst one out of all the options, but it's still a great projectile. Tip number 1 against Cloud is to bait out the up B out of shield. Cloud's fastest out of shield option is a 7 frame up B. However, 95% of Clouds will instantly up B the moment you get close to their shield. And I don't know why, whenever I play against a Cloud, they always do this. And they don't really pick grab out of shield just because Cloud's grab isn't that good. He's only grabbing with his really small arms. And the combo potential after grab is pretty limited, so you don't really see Clouds going for a grab too much anyways. Because of this, I need you to experiment with different ways to trick Clouds to commit to their up B without getting hit, and you can punish them right after. So what you can do is you do like a feint approach, so you jump in with like one jump and then double jump away right before you hit them, but they trigger their up B. Or you could dash dance a lot to really like scare them into picking up B. You cross them up, so if they're facing to the right, you could land behind them to the left to kind of avoid the up B. Cloud can still turn around up B from out of shield, but it still makes the Cloud's life a little bit harder, and if the player messes up their input, you get a free punish. Or you can do what I did in this game, where I just sat in shield for a bit and waited, and what that does is like it puts a lot of pressure on someone sitting in shield, and they feel the need to throw out some type of quick hitbox to swat you away, so sitting in shield for a little bit longer might be enough for you to bait out the up B and get your free punish. So for this one I got 3 free hits. Tip number 2 is their Telegraphed Recovery. Now this only really applies if they don't have their limit up B. If they don't have it, their normal up B goes straight up. And because of that, the Cloud has to commit to using their double jump and air dodge in a very creative and wise way to make it back to the stage, or else they get edge guarded. Because of this, you can kind of pressure them to recover a certain way, which makes it a lot easier to edge guard them. And if you see that the Cloud isn't really paying too much attention to how they're recovering, it should be a pretty free stock. I would be careful though, because Cloud's second hit of up B can spike you with him. So it's kind of like a kamikaze play if you edgeguard too recklessly. So just be careful of that, but in any sense, Clouds don't really want to be off stage anyways. So you could kind of implement a game plan where you want to focus more on edgeguarding against Cloud anyways, and it should lead to some quicker stocks. And the last tip that I have for you is lack of disadvantaged options. So Cloud has the standard frame 3 air dodge and a frame 5 nair that begins behind him. So even though it starts frame 5, it has to go around his whole body to like really cover him. Because of this, you could really string together some pretty cool combos against a Cloud, just because they don't have that many quick options that help them get out of like a combo or out of a sticky situation. If they double jump away, you could try to call out their landing option anyways, just like any other character, to continue your advantage state. And if you notice that they like to land with an attack, a lot of them like to try to land with a forward air or a down air, simply just block it, or sorry, this should say simply dodge or shield, and then continue your punish game. Just because you're reacting to their aggressive landing, and it should be pretty easy to follow up after that. Those moves aren't that safe. But yeah, those are my main 3 tips against Cloud. Next up we have Kazuya Mishima. Some strengths that I would like to take note of is that he does have access to some of the best combo routes in the game. So he has a lot of 0 to death combos. He has Electric Wind God Fist, which is a command input that can stun you, which is generally like the key to a lot of these combos. He has a tilt attack that trips, which helps him extend grounded combos even more. He has nair loops. He has a lot of other things like platform tech chase setups. He has side B setups. He has like just a plethora of combo routes that he could go for. So it just makes him a really scary character to fight close quarters with. He has a lot of intangible and armored moves, so his limbs essentially become swords. So to explain this more, in the video shown here, if you see this faint blue light appearing above Kazuya and his various like parts of his body, that means he's intangible at those areas. So if you try to attack him during these animations in those highlighted blue spots, your move will not interact with him at all. It just ignores it. Think of it kind of like dodging or rolling. It has that property, but he's still throwing out hitboxes. So you might come across a Kazuya doing these moves and you swing at them and it looks like you hit them, but they just flat out ignore it. This is why. He also has some armored moves as well, primarily on his smash attack or down B. His down B has 10% damage based armor, so basically if you hit him with any move that does less than 10% while he's doing down B, he'll just tank the damage and continue the down B as normal. And he gets super armor on Rage Drive, which is when he has over 100% and he's glowing like red. If he does down B, he has super armor there, where no move can make him flinch at all. You could try to grab him, but just know that that's super armor. And the last strength that I want to talk about, and again, these are just some strengths, not every strength. He is the 8th heaviest character in the game, and what this does is that it lets him survive a lot longer than most of the cast, which means that his rage drives comes out more consistent. Again, he gets rage drive when he surpasses 100%. So he'll be living much longer than most of the cast anyways. So because of that, he has access to that really scary, I think it does like 40% command grab that could KO pretty early. He gets that more often, is basically what that means. He's a tank of a character. But the first tip that I have against Kazuya Mishima is to approach from all sides. He does come from Tekken, a fighting game, which is a very input heavy game. It does require a decent level of execution, and you might see a lot of Kazuya mains thinking like it's second nature to input these things. However, you as an opponent can still have confidence to cross him up, and what that does is it forces the player to second guess their inputs because you're switching sides left and right, and that could be very irritating for some Kazuya players and just makes it really hard for them to really know how to do their Electric Wind God Fist or how to do their like which direction do they have to be facing in a given moment. So you kind of use the power of speed and mobility to your side, and if they do input incorrectly, that could be the first step at breaking their mental fortitude. And if they have a bad mental, that means that they'll make more mistakes, and it's kind of like a vicious cycle at that point where you're kind of profiting off of the Kazuya struggling to do their combos. Tip number 2 is to take refuge in the sky. Kazuya is the only character in this game. Mind you, he is a DLC character. He's the only character in the game that has a 7-frame jump squat animation, while the rest of the cast has a 3-frame jump squat, which means if you press jump, your character takes 3 frames to kind of squat a little bit and then they get airborne. With Kazuya, it takes him 7 whole frames to do like a little jump squat animation, and then he gets airborne. And pair this with this horrendous full hop. This is his full hop. This is his full hop animation here. This is how high his full hop goes. This is Lil Mac. He's a boxer from New York. And this is Kazuya Mishima with his full hop. If you pair these two kind of atrocious stat lines, we learn 3 things. Kazuya's main combos start from the ground, so playing more vertically reduces the chances of you getting hit by those really scary combos that we talked about. Number 2, Kazuya's most punishing rising options are up air and down B, which is objectively a lot better than getting hit by a combo starter like Electric Wind. So it's okay to like kind of be on platforms and let him like poke you if he does hit you, if he could even reach you. And lastly, Kazuya does have to commit to his unique second double jump or an air dodge to reach this platform, which is pretty sad to say the least. So just getting up there for Kazuya is really tough. So you can kind of like use the platforms as a way to buy some time, maybe irritate the Kazuya saying like, you can't catch me up here because I could just run away. And I know you have to commit to like a double jump. And if I know you're going to commit to a double jump, I kind of turn that into a juggle situation for myself too. And it just forces Kazuya to play in a very, kind of has to respect the platform, and they kind of just have to wait for you to come down anyways. There's not much options they have against you if you're up there. And the last tip that I have for you against Kazuya is to outrange Electric Wind God Fist. Sorry. Electric Wind God Fist is Kazuya's main combo starter, and they will be going for this move a lot. Like a lot. It pushes people away in shield, so it has a unique property where like if you shield Electric Wind, you actually kind of pop out of it and you get like pushed away from them, so it's very safe. If they do land it, it stuns them long enough to start big combos, and like we shown during the some strength slide, his whole body is intangible during the start of the move, so it's pretty good as like a way to phase through attacks. You want to kind of dance around this range and try to place bigger hitboxes in the way of you and Kazuya himself to essentially kind of wall him out. And I know I'm using Cloud's back air as an example, but I feel like this is a good way to like kind of approach Kazuya, where you kind of want to mid-range him and stay away from not only Electric Wind, but a lot of his in front of him combo starters like run up grab or like the tilt attack or anything, because all of them, they have like that similar range just in front of him. So if you understand how far his attacks go, you can play around that and just make it really hard for him to get anything started. Let's say you don't have a sword. Let's say you play Pichu. I would recommend relying a lot more on tip 1 and tip 2, so staying more extremely mobile, trying to cross them up a lot and just using the platforms to your advantage, because you don't really have that many tools that can outrange Kazuya. But you could still use your movement in order to bait out the Electric Wind and punish him after the hit comes out, or at least position yourself in a better way so it's harder for you to get hit later. That was it for all the tips against Cloud and Kazuya. Again, if you have any requests for characters, let me know down below. And while you're down there, please hit like and subscribe because it helps the channel a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.